Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at the county jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2.
Well, hello, Whitney. Yep, that's what I heard. Your family said they got you all set up and you're ready for your stay in the big house. Yeah, I know. Murder, that's something that we shouldn't take too lightly. When somebody is killed, I think the punishment should fit the crime. And I can't really say, just go in for a few years and then get out. But we have courts because not every crime has the same motive. Not every crime is committed under the same circumstances. So we have to listen to what the defense is. We have to listen to what the prosecution is, and the jury, the judge, the court in general have to make the right decision. And with you, you've got 10 years, and you do have a chance of getting out early on probation. And in 10 years, you could learn a lot, take full advantage of the resources over there. I know it's going to be a tricky situation because we, as prison reformists and advocates, we don't support the just the penal system because it isn't treating the people very kindly. And even though you'll be locked up in the prison, you do have rights. And there are three things I'm concerned about over there, and one of them is medical, and the other one is the safety and security, and the third one is communication. I think all these things, if they do them right, can help you get out and get back into society and not have to worry about any more criminal activity. Yeah, that is a statistic. When people get out of prison, they're less likely to recommit. You're convicted of murder. I doubt you'll get out of prison in 10 years or less and commit another murder. Now, I know I went to a hearing, and the judge was concerned about the person being involved with gang activity. And gangs, they have a habit of manipulating people and influencing people to do things that they shouldn't be doing. And that's partly to gain control. And I would hate for you to get involved with gang stuff because usually these people, they just, even if they have good intentions, the pressure is just too great. You can hear of gang people during their initiations or needing to pay a debt or something, and the crimes are just astronomical. So that's and I know the United States government wants to get out gang members and people who are violent offenders, and you'll be stuck in there with people like that. And even when one of the girls got out and she went into the her probation office, they were concerned about her being affiliated with some gang members. And so I would say I'm going to give you some names of people to contact once you get over there,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
and hopefully that will help you out. So keep an eye out for the people that will hurt you more than help you, and just follow the rules. And you know pretty much all of them because you did your homework. So that's good. Yep, I know this is your last time talking to me while in jail. So when you get to prison, reach out, keep communicating.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, and make sure you make the right connections. If it doesn't feel right, or if you get enough negative reactions out there, take a step back and keep to yourself, for crying out loud. Okay, well, you take care of yourself. Oh, yeah, I will. Thank you very much. Okay, you too. Goodbye.
Thank you for using inmate call. Goodbye.
Well, hello. Welcome to AQS Inmate Call. I am your host, Joel Wilborn. And in that phone conversation, that's was based on a young lady who is leaving jail and heading off to serve her sentence in the state prison. Now, that recently happened with a person who I was working with. She got out and then she got herself in trouble, which was silly. And then she goes back again. And she was really upset and she was angry at her attorneys, angry at the judges. She wanted me to do some research and try to find out some information on the people that were assigned to her case. And mainly it was just emotional. She was just distraught because she was going to be going to prison for a long time. She was looking at 30 years. And I'm really concerned when people go to prison because we don't know what we're going to get when they come out. Now, I know recidivism is down all across the country, not just in the state of Washington, and that's a good thing, but we don't attribute it to anything that the state is doing. And it's not because we're just against the state. It's just that we don't want to give credit to an organization that isn't really deserving of it. And one of the things I'm concerned about with prison is communication, because family members should be allowed to speak to the people who are locked up on a regular basis. We've got a terrible email system. Now, when I first started helping people in prison, we just used the phone and snail mail. And the communication was a little slow with the snail mail. But the phone system, it was landline. So when the people called from the prison, and that's usually what you see in movies and TV series. The person will walk up and look like a little payphone and make the call, and then they would call collect, or they would pay for a phone package or something. And it was a lot easier to hear the people than with this one. This one, the line breaks or pops. And I recently did an interview with Shaylin Altus, and you can see that one on the podcast. I made a podcast under the AQS Inmate Call, and you can also see her interview on YouTube. And you could hear the sound quality on it. And it was really tough to transcribe anything from her, so I just left it up to you guys to hear it the way she said it. But as she's talking, things pop out, fade in, fade out, and you'll miss a few things. And even when I did the captions on it's tough for the captions to catch it. And that's because that's the quality of the phone system in the prison. And when that thing goes down, and usually it's because of the internet, then communication with family members is tough. Now, my fiance, her father is homeless, and she was wanting to get a hotel room for him so that he could stay in there, get off the street for a little bit. And you can imagine the stuff he wants to do. Maybe just kind of sleep in, take a shower, get some privacy, watch some stuff on TV, and maybe just kind of clear his mind and relax. And for a homeless person to get off the streets for 2-3 days, it means a lot. Of course, they prefer to be off the street eternally, or at least most of them do. But every little bit they appreciate more than people that let's say, are multimillionaires, and if they need something, they can get it. They're less likely to appreciate the things that they have. But folks who are in prison, folks who are homeless, folks who are pretty much shunned by society, every little bit that they get, they appreciate, and that's nice to be able to help out. And I was glad that my fiance wanted to do that for him, and it helps her to feel comfortable. But if I can't stay in contact with her, I can't help her. I can't help him. She's able to call him. I can communicate with him, so we can get this style going. But we have to work it ourselves. The prison system isn't helping us. I don't see how this helps her life any, because she's miserable knowing that her dad is out there and she doesn't know what's going on and if he's going to slip back into drug use. She's really concerned. Does the prison want to help her? You would think it would. Looking at the website, you would think that they care. But in reality, no. The prison system does not care. It's going through great extremes to keep us apart and to keep her from reaching her goal. She has limited resources and she relies on me for a lot. And for them to just say you're forbidden from talking to her, it just doesn't make any sense. And the same thing with this young lady, Shaylin. Now she learned some things that aren't considered moral and proper. And we as humans, what sets us aside from the people, other people, and the beast, say, of the world, is that we learn. And those who pay attention to their family, when we have family morals, which is for some reason slowly being chipped away. But a baby is born and the parents are supposed to feed, clothe, house, and instruct the child as it grows into adulthood. And when we teach these children properly, we get a good result in most cases. Nothing's guaranteed when raising children. But if you teach them wrong, you can't really blame the child for it. At least that's not the way I see it. We have people go into a school and they'll shoot it up. And maybe they'll wind up getting shot themselves or get arrested and put in prison. And they're beginning now to look at the parents. How did this child get the gun? What motivated this child to go to the school? And it could be something like a racial disparity, maybe a hate crime. And we can look back into it. And I know motive isn't a part of the judicial system, but when it comes to children, we should look at that a little bit different than adults. And if you listen to the story of Shaylin, she talks about the things she thought was right. She thought having sex with her uncle meant she loved him and that he loved her. That's what she was taught. And he's dead now. So we can't hold him responsible. What about her mother? What about her father? What about her siblings? What about her community leaders? What about her uh, relatives? Do they hold any responsibility? Would they be willing to take any responsibility? Are they willing to help others to avoid these situations? I asked Shannon why she wanted to share her story, and she says if it can help anybody, she would be very happy. She wants to help people. She wants people to reach out to her, and she wants to be able to shine light on what happened in her situation. She was a scared teenager when it happened, which is normal the way I see it. but there was a lot expected from her that she just didn't learn. Now, when a person is arrested, let's say you're pulled over for speeding and your tabs are expired, or you get belligerent, something like that, and you're arrested. You can't say, well, I didn't know the law, because they said ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But what about education? What about upbringing? What about the rules? When I was arrested and went to jail, I went out to the courtroom. They had a courtyard, and they had a little time where people can get out and stretch their arms, legs, communicate. But the one of the prison guards came up and told me to go back to my room because you have to clean up your room before you go out. I didn't know that. I lost my um, free time because I had no idea what the rule was. So I asked him, why didn't anybody tell me the rule when I got here? Where are they? They're not written on the walls or anything. So he handed me this little pamphlet that had the rules in there. And I thought, when I walked through the door, that would have helped. And I want to make sure that people, before they go to jail, they know the rules. I can't do or read the rules or present the rules of every jail in the world, but I could probably direct people correctly to where they can find them. Usually they can find them online. But a lot of people, they don't know they're going to be arrested and go to jail anyway. So by you would think by nature they should give people the rules once they're arrested. I know when I was in law enforcement, we read the Miranda rights, and that was just something we had to do. I memorized them, but I would pull out a little card and I would read it so that there was no fumbling, because you don't want to mess that up. And I think a person who is loses some privileges or something like that because they didn't know the rule, I think they should get a break. And with Shaylin, she thought what she was doing was right. When I was talking to her dad, she said he wanted her to come live with him, but she was happy where she was. She wanted to be there because she was happy. And her aunt told me she wanted to keep her too, and she kept her for a little while, but she was really strict. And little Shaylin just couldn't take all these rules that were being put on her. And when you go to a household where rules are very loose and where you feel that you're being loved because it's not shown the way a family shows it, you have your tough love and you have the love by providing 3 meals, a roof over the head, transportation to and from, clothing. That's a way of showing love. But for Shaylin, it was being shown by these sexual acts. Their family ran around in underwear, and had to obey certain procedures and stuff. And for her, that was normal. And for her, that was her way of feeling loved. And the judge really didn't care on something like that because I don't know how she should have known the proper thing to do. She was never taught that. But you got to look at that in the past. And a person going to prison, if a counselor will sit down and try to figure out, what is this that happened? What went wrong? What can we do to fix this? There are some counselors that do that, and they will work to get them into something. Like maybe this person wasn't feeling love. You can't assign somebody to love them, but you can keep an eye on the people they associate with. If a woman who was sexually abused is hanging out with child molesters, rapists, uh, um, human trafficking people, I think the prison staff should be alerted I'm the counselor for this person. This person is hanging out with people who could easily influence decisions and maybe future activity. We need to minimize that. That could help. But to send a person to a prison with minimum staff, limited resources, and that has been known to have a bad medical facility that intermingles biological males with biological females and expect there to be no sexual tension between them. I don't know. It just blows my mind. But that's reality. That's what's going on. Shaylin was doing what she thought was right. And she got 38 years in prison for it. And I'm hoping with her story getting out there and maybe some proper medical care, she can get this sentence reduced and she can get her life back online. She's not a bad person. She was scared when it happened. She's not somebody that goes out, buys weapons, trains for them, and then walks out to commit a crime. She had no intention of committing a crime. She was trying to protect herself. And this adult, this responsible adult that she trusted, had a weapon there. So what can we do to prevent that? One thing is listen to her story. Talk to the people you care about. Her family, as I'm talking to them, they didn't really see what was going on in her life. They didn't know until things started to change, and then it was too late. We can look for that kind of stuff in the people that are close to us. And if we can save one person, and we may never know, we might say something to somebody, never see them again, but that person could, in a bad situation, think back to what was said and walk away. But it's not going to happen if we don't talk to people, if we don't understand them. They need to know that there's somebody there to talk to. And all of us are capable of listening. We don't necessarily have to give the best advice in the world, but I know with children, they can work things out. So if they have somebody they can talk to and answer their questions or give them resources, like, hey, let's go talk to our pastor. Or I think grandma could help you with something like that. That's very helpful information. And it could help the child to grow into a productive citizen rather than journey down the path of crime. So I encourage you to listen to Shaylin Altus's story on YouTube and reach out to her. Let her know that you're willing to listen to her. She is she's the subject of a lot of verbal abuse in there, and maybe as people understand that she was raised with some very selfish and bad intentions, that we can easily understand that she got into a situation that she really didn't know how to get out of. But she's willing to offer her experience to help others. And that says a lot, at least to me. Well, thanks for tuning in. And I hope you go out, hang out with your friends and family, and learn something, share something. So have yourself a magnificent day and make fantastic memories for tomorrow.